Hello everyone, and my name is Admir Šatara and works for Softhouse Balkans. And today with my colleague Ammar Karabeg we will talk about implementation CI/CD in our ongoing projects. So first of all, thanks to all sponsors. And here's agenda of today presentations. On our presentation today, we'll talk about some general things about CI/CD, assessment model, what is assessment model and how we use it in our company, some general information about projects and reference case of our projects. So, continuous integration and continuous delivery. CI/CD are two acronyms that are most used on when people talk about modern development practice, and CI is straightforward and stand for continuous integration, practice that focus on making and preparing release easier, and continuous delivery means for CD means for continuous delivery and continuous deploy, and while those two have a lot of common, they also have a difference. And CI is used by developers to merge their changes back into main branch, and changes are verified by creating and running builds and running automated tests against build. And also CI, continuous integration, put great emphasis of automated tests and running automation tests to check that application is not broken when new changes are committed to the main branch. Continuous delivery is the extension of continuous integration and make sure that new releases are ready for deploy. And also this means that on top of having automated process, you also have automated release process to deploy your application at any point of time and at any environment. Next slide is about principles for integration and delivery. And continuous integration delivery contains of 5 principles: creation and evolving pipeline to get a short feedback loop is an essential part of work in continuous delivery, and it's never ending work in continuous delivery. So if we find one problem in our regression testing, we must not only fix them, but then we should ask how can we catch the problem if we have an automated test. And if we found bug in our automated test, then we should ask, can we write an unit test to catch the problem? So it's always work in the progress, and it's never-ending work in the continuous delivery. Also, work in small batches give us feedback to our work to detect problem as early and possible, and also it increase our motivation, velocity, and also it's help us to triage bug as early as possible. One of the goal of continuous delivery is for computers to run some repetitive regression tests, so to let people to work on problem solving and focus on task or problem with higher quality. And also everybody in the team should treat improvement as an essential part of their usually daily work, and devs, QA, and operation team should work together on the project to achieve project's goal and organization goal, and also they all together build quality in. Delivery pipeline is an automated implementation process of all application stages for build, quality, test, release, and deploy. And each organization has differences in implementation of their pipeline, and it depends on their value stream for release a software and how it's work. So if we made some changes on each of these stages, it's automatically triggered a new creation of new instance of pipeline, and rest of them is to run tests to prove that everything is okay, the application is not broken, and each test that passed on that build give us confidence that application is ready to be deployed. And this picture show us a simple pipeline of our ongoing projects, and it shows us first and last step in our pipeline. So if we made some changes, push it on version control, and unit tests are automatically triggered. If something is broken, we got feedback that we must fix it, and then starting with new pipeline instances. Now I say give us some information about assessment model. What is assessment model? How we use it in our company, and I will talk also about maturity model. Assessment model is a map or kind of map that give us current situation on the project and determine where organizations stand in terms of maturity, processes, and practices, and also give us define future tasks that will be work during the future improvement in the projects. It's a simplified and clear view of what to improve. In our company, we create one PDF document, and it contains current situation of the project with about all this stuff: code, build, test, delivery. And also there is a defined future task for these application stages. And everybody in the team has the same view and the goal of the improvement. And important things that assessment model make it easier to put effort on the right things and on the same things. The central tool of assessment model is maturity model. It's a map or model that gives us that explain us to current situation on the projects and where our organization stand in the term of maturity. First thing is to focus on painful area in our project. For example, of code in the beginner level of the project, and after that we create some implementation plan, implement things, and compare result with acceptance criteria that are created in the implementation phase. And repeat same step to all other areas. And the method behind continuous delivery cannot be implemented overnight. It's always work in progress, where organization goes from the beginner to the expert. And beginner means that short feedback starting give us some first result in the projects, and intermediate content on intermediate is on the quality, and it's visible for each delivery. Content of advanced is to also on delivering and deploying on demand, and the expert is improving environment and software using monitoring. Our company for every our projects guarantee for intermediate level, and if you want to go to advanced level, then we talk with POs on the projects and sit together and define future tasks and things to be improved in the future of the project implementation. How we use assessment model? Usually it's with interviewing and workshopping with the people that are working on the delivery pipeline. So we sit together and talk about all projects phase, like code, build, test, delivery, and create future task as long and short-term goals. And also we define all tasks that will be improved or work in the future. Also can be used to create a specific CD model for each customer, and it's a generic model. During interviews and roadmap creation, customer specification must be taken in the consideration. And I'll now just tell some information about our current ongoing projects, and it's a meeting room solution for meeting room management, and system is integrated seamlessly with an existing email server and calendar servers like Exchange, Domino, Google, and Office. And it's a device with custom embedded hardware with 80-inch touch screen, and the device is running on our custom server software, where users are able to edit their meeting created on their existing or regular calendar system, or also users are able to edit ongoing meeting, delete ongoing meeting, create future meetings, and also there's a lot of another additional functionality. Challenges on the project was to create create a product with that can be installed and operational in 1 minute. It's combined of existing and brand new technology like Meteor.js, Node.js, C, C++, and Bash. Also, challenge was to provide a solution for standalone and client-server-based environment to integrated first line support on the client side and second line support or technical support or our side. And solution is that today we have device that is running on custom embedded hardware operation system based on Yocto. Development is on unit side for plugins, for sensors, for drivers, and UI. Also, Linux and Windows installation are supported, and it's also solution is that we have a device that can work on as a standalone and connected on the server. And result is today we have sold 35,000 units, winning of multiple awards during the world for design and usability. And it's used by top 100 company from all continents in the world. And today, now my colleague Ammar will continue deep in the project about implementation, CI/CD, and benefit from implementations. Thank you.
And now I'll tell you more about our development phase without CI/CD. There's a common state of software that you can call continuous frustration. It is the absence of any continuous integration or continuous delivery practices, and it feels like this. You commit something new to master and wait for someone to blame it you. Your main code line is unstable. Bugs hide in tangle of many code changes, and you dread the effort ahead to find them because so much time has passed since you worked on that area of code. When testers want to test new features, they have to annoy all the developers to find the working build and learn the current state of project. And for the first half a year to a year, we had the same situation on our project. From the very beginning, the structure was not well established, and we just wrote unorganized code. Testing was not enough performed, and we didn't have any coding standard. Even if we tried to follow all these procedures, we always failed. As I said, testing was not enough performed, and we didn't have a single person in a team who would only test new functionalities or write any test cases or test plans. And regression testing was also rarely performed, and we never really planned the time for doing it. We used Scrum as a methodology of work, but there were also many failures because we didn't use it as it should be. We used some ceremonies like sprint planning and demos, but again, we didn't use some of the important ceremonies like sprint review, retrospective, where we could say to our product owners and the team what went well, what wasn't well in the sprint. We're just doing new stuff without saying our opinions. But one of the rare things that we were doing well in this period was sprint planning, where we all sit down and discuss about new tasks that we are bringing into the next sprint and estimate them. Also, we didn't use grooming sessions at all, where we could go through the whole backlog and to get a wider and better picture of the project that we are working on. The reason many organizations tend to stall in implementing such a process is that they do not have anyone in their organization that has technical knowledge or experience to craft a proper CI/CD solution. And without proper guidance, it is difficult to establish best practices or even to make first steps in implementing it into your workflow. And selecting of the proper tools for implementation is a key for a success of a continuous delivery process. Building such an infrastructure in-house can be very costly and labor-intensive, and that can lead organizations to forget about building their solutions and applications themselves, and can ultimately result in failure of implementing CI/CD effectively. Sometimes the value of CI/CD is not always clear to our stakeholders, or even worse, they have misinformation that skews their opinions and decisions. Your developers might say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Mainly if your team has a great routine in executing their current workflow, and changing of that workflow must be done with great precautions. Otherwise, it could compromise the productivity and velocity of the development team and also the quality of the products. Let's stop the line and build continuous delivery pipelines, said no product owner ever. In their defense, they are focused on cutting ahead of competition with new features that will wow the world. And at the same time, you know you have a problem if in every sprint planning, pipelines are weighted against new features and I trade it off. Pipelines are hygiene. If you want to stay in this business, you should ask yourself, is hygiene important for you? After many ups and downs in our delivery, we decided to arrange a meeting with our product owners where we could discuss about CI/CD implementation and what benefits we will have. First, we had to learn and get familiar with CI/CD implementation so we don't break our process with wrong implementation. With the help of our colleagues from Sweden, we did CI/CD assessment on our project, and we had interviews with each member of the team to determine the current state of the project and made a short-term and long-term plans. Before meeting, we prepared a really good documentation of where are we now with velocity and productivity and where we could be with CI/CD implementation. Also, we did an investigation of which tools to use, and on meeting with our product owners, decided to use Bitbucket and Git to manage hosts and review code repositories. And for automating the process of building and testing, we decided to use Jenkins. First thing we have done was setuping of build machines and also setuping of Jenkins to automate our build process. Next thing was covering as much as possible of our code with unit tests, and in later phase also including them as part of the build pipeline. Also, we started writing with automated tests, and our goal was to automate our testing as much as possible. And after we had some certain number of automated tests, we also included them as part of our build pipeline. And during our CI/CD implementation, there were lots of ups and downs because in some sprints there was no time for CI/CD tasks, because like usually product owners rather wanted new features than investing so much time in CI/CD. But we managed to overcome these issues and started with implementing CI/CD tasks regularly. And after our product owners seen all the benefits we were getting from this implementation, they let us invest even more time in it so we can improve our productivity and velocity. And the results of our implementation are all the benefits we got from it. The ultimate goal of CI/CD is to make each release less dramatic and painless experience for both customers and development teams. And by continuously releasing new features, we reduce the risk of bugs ending up in our production, and we could resolve any found bugs faster. Speeding up the build and deploy cycle, and that way we got new features into production quicker, meaning we could get our product into the hands of customer faster. We produced much higher quality builds with no critical bugs in them. And all that was thanks to integrating unit and automated tests as part of our build pipeline to make sure everything is working fine. We lowered our costs by eliminating many of the fixed costs associated with building and testing changes to the application. And also bugs were found faster, and when you detect bugs in the earlier stage, you reduce the cost of fixing it. Also with automated environment, we reduced the cost of maintaining our own test infrastructure. Now every time commit something new without any tests, you will feel the shame coming with having your coverage percentage going down because of few changes. And increase of the coverage percentage is a great motivator for a team to continue writing new tests. And user involvement and feedback during continuous development leads to usability improvements, and that way you could add new requirements from customers on a daily basis. And for example, a month ago, we got a request from our customers to make some changes in demo mode of our application. And tomorrow morning, we all sat down, worked on those changes, and by the end of the day, we had a build ready for our customers with the requested changes. Here, we tried to represent our development phase and how things were going from the beginning of the project to the present day. So at the very beginning, we had same amount of time for everything. That means we had 5 days for development, 5 for testing, and 5 for bug fixing. And we were not delivering that much stuff because everything was done manually. We needed much more time to build and test everything. And therefore, our production builds were usually full of bugs. That's why we needed that much time for bug fixing. In this period, we didn't really consider of quality what we are building. We just wanted to make something for our customers that they could possibly use. So in the next period, we decided to invest in CI/CD and started pulling some tasks about CI/CD into our sprint. And that period, our development phase has grown to 6 days. Testing was reduced to 4 days, and bug fixing was also reduced to 4 days. Because in this period, we started writing unit tests, and it was a little bit easier for us to find bugs, to find and discover bugs. And after initial investment, we decided to invest even more in CI/CD because we saw that our development process is getting better and better. In this period, we were writing more and more unit tests and also included them as part of the build pipeline. Also, we started writing automated tests. And in this period, our development phase has grown to 8 days, testing was reduced to 2 days, and bug fixing was also reduced to 2 days. Because with much more unit tests and automated tests, it was a little bit easier for us to find bugs, and bugs couldn't just sneak like that into our production. And today, we have a full implemented pipeline, and our development phase is grown to 11 days, and bug fixing and testing is reduced to 1 day, because along with unit tests, automated tests are run as part of the build pipeline, and unit tests are triggered after every commit on master to make sure nothing has been broken. On the other side, we compared our situation before and after CI/CD. So at the beginning of the project, we were just developing new stuff for 6 months before producing anything to our customers. And now, after every sprint, we have a build ready for them. It's a big difference when you have to wait 6 months to get something and when you get it in 2 weeks. As I said before CI/CD implementation, our production builds were usually full of bugs. And it was always a stressful time for us around production because we were fixing bugs that were blocking our customers from using our application. And then again, making new builds and testing them, and all of that took us a lot of time. And now we produce much higher quality builds thanks to unit and automated tests. When build pipeline is set up, the entire team knows what's going on with the build, and they can get the latest results of tests. That means they can raise an issue and plan their work in context. Also, you can see which changes tend to break your builds more often. Before, we were dependent on just one person to make our builds, and now with everything is automated through Jenkins, anyone in the team can do it. Before, we didn't have anything automated, no automated tests, builds were made through Jenkins, and now everything is automated, builds are made through Jenkins, and also they include unit automated tests to make sure everything is working fine and there are no critical bugs like before. So If you want to keep calm, you should deliver continuously. And once again, we want to thank all our sponsors and friends. And thank you all for coming.